And if last night's Game 5, Monica McNutt, between Vegas and Indiana, if that was any indication of what we're going to get in these W Finals, it will be must-see TV. What do you say? Let's pick this action up in the third quarter here. The Fever down 7. Kelsey Mitchell has been carrying the entire state of Indiana on her back. Nails the triple here, but she does come up touching her left knee there. And this was a scary moment. Less than a minute later, Mitchell, she comes over to receive a handoff. The whistle is blown, and then afterwards, keep an eye on Mitchell here. After the play, she doubles over, eventually grabbing the arm of the official there, is helped gently to the ground. Mitchell, she would leave the game with what the Fever have since reported as extreme cramping, but this was a scary moment. We saw a stretcher rolled out. She didn't actually need it. To the fourth quarter we go. The Fever here now without Kelsey Mitchell.
Yeah, and this is when you're rapidly approaching clutch time in this ball game, and the Aces flat out start to take over, Malika, but I don't want to spoil it.
Jackie Young, A'ja Wilson, they gave us a snapshot of what we would continue to see down the stretch of this game. They combined to score or assist on 90 of Vegas's 107 points in Game 5, but this ain't over yet, Monica.
Yeah, and you have to admire this Fever team, injury after injury, but Stephanie White has these women playing excellent team basketball. They believe in one another. Aaliyah Boston was huge in this game, and then Lexi Hall defending late in this ball game. She had been all over the place through this series. Like the Fever just finding their way. But that was huge because Aaliyah Boston picked up what would be her final foul of the contest.
Right, so she had 5 fouls. Stephanie White trusting her in this moment. You have to have her out there, but right there she picks up her final foul. Here, A'ja Wilson went for the steal, so now you have 5-on-4. Odyssey Sims, every team she is on, she makes an impact.
And the whole internet wants to know why Odyssey Sims has had to come in on hardship basis.
And you know what? Maybe in this offseason there's going to be a 4-minute home here. One final shot here for the Aces. They wanted the friendly bounce. They wouldn't get it, and so we skip with Jackie Young into overtime here. Of course we deserved overtime in this Game 5.
Now, this is when the Aces, though, Malika, as we started our show last night, they showed that they actually held all the cards. Chelsea Gray goes into clutch mode because what is that? She wasn't even shooting the 3-ball particularly well in the course of the ball game. And then off this inbounds play, just so sound execution from the Aces late in this ball game. Becky Hammond talked a lot about leaning on their experience.
The Aces win, and they celebrated like this after the game.
From start to finish on the defensive end, we've been locked in, and it's not just one person, it's not just 5 people, it's everybody. And everybody you see right here contributes to this game, whether they touched the floor or they did, and that's the sign of a championship team. We've worked so hard to get to this point. People counted all of us out, but we made it. We're making it to the finals right now, and so we're not done. We're not going to be complacent, but damn, it feels good right now.
So Wilson and Young, they became the first duo each with a 30-plus point game in WNBA playoff history. That's after Young authored the first playoff game in history with 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 0 turnovers. So, Monica, what was the most impressive part?
Well, first of all, let me just say, I was one of the people that counted the Aces out. Earlier this season, they looked crazy, and I didn't think they was going to be here. But when you talk about clutch time, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray in particular, but it was about the patience that they were able to play with and to create the necessary spacing for whoever had the ball to operate here. This is great Fever defense here, but watch Jackie Young. She makes herself available to A'ja Wilson, who naturally draws multiple defenders. She's going to be poised. She knocks down a big 3-point shot, continuing to climb the ladder for scoring in the postseason. And then here, watch Chelsea Gray. Eyes on what's happening. Jackie Young keeping her dribble alive. Look at how much the defense collapsed when A'ja moves and Jackie attacks the paint. Chelsea Gray, man, as a shooter, ain't nothing like going to the spot and knowing you in rhythm, okay? She comes to the spot. This is that crazy highlight, Malika, that I was like, what in the world? Like, what is happening? But this was the championship pedigree that you heard A'ja talk to Holly about post-game.
And when you look at the experience of these two players and how they came up clutch in the fourth quarter and overtime of this Game 5 against an Indiana team that has really cobbled together their season, unfortunately, due to injuries, now we see the Aces move on. They had that burst to get it done in overtime. But, Monica, before we preview the finals here, let's just take a moment to applaud Indiana's season.
Got to.
The final minutes of overtime really encapsulated their season. Look at all the players that were unavailable heading into overtime after Kelsey Mitchell left with severe dehydration and Aaliyah Boston fouled out. This team took so many hits, and some way, somehow, they kept finding a way. Here's Stephanie White on the resiliency of her squad.
I think the first word that comes to mind is just gratitude. I mean, I've experienced some special teams in this league, in this organization, but collectively, this group has been at the top. So I'm extremely grateful for every single one of them. We know this is going to be an off-season full of change in the league, but what these women accomplished together, I mean, it's a special story. It's a special story, and I hope one day it's told. But I'm so proud and so grateful.
Social media certainly reflected that admiration of the Indiana Fever season here. It's one that fans won't soon forget, because I think there's going to be a lot of what ifs. What if this team was healthy? And that's going to turn into what could be for next season, Monica. I couldn't be more impressed with what Indiana put together here.
Yeah, look, Natalie Nakase totally deserved Coach of the Year.
Yep.
But if there was a version of this award for the postseason, it would go to Stephanie White. And I think I said this last night during our countdown show, Malika. The Minnesota Lynx were praised because so much of what they do is everyone plays in their role. They're a perfect team. I think you almost have to apply the similar logic to the Indiana Fever, because what was so beautiful about them was it was clear. Kelsey Mitchell is top 5 MVP candidate. Aaliyah Boston's available in the paint. Lexi Hall's going to do it all. Shea Petty's going to come off the bench. Breonna Turner, Natasha Howard. They were so clear in what they were trying to do as a team and how to do it, and that is special from any team.
Tomorrow, we are going to hear from the Indiana Fever in their exit interviews. We do actually expect to hear from Caitlin Clark here as well. Now to a developing story. Reaction, it continues to pour in after Minnesota Lynx star Napheesa Collier used her exit interview on Tuesday to read a prepared statement calling for change in player compensation and, most pointedly, a scathing critique of the league leadership and specifically Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Here's a portion of what she said.
At Unrivaled this past February, I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. That's a mentality driving our league from the top. We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world.
Our Hall of Famer Holly Rowe is joining us now. Holly, we do have some breaking news just now in regarding Napheesa Collier here. Our Ramona Shelburne is reporting that Collier suffered also a grade 2 tear of 3 ligaments in her ankle and a muscle in her shin during that collision that we saw with the Phoenix Mercury forward Alyssa Thomas in Game 3. So with that sort of as the background also to all of this, and Fee was very clear, this is not about winning and losing. How were Napheesa's words received around the league?
Well, I can tell you we were actually in the gym at the Indiana Fever shoot-around when this happened. And the players that I was talking with were absolutely kind of in shock at the first moment, because they couldn't believe that Napheesa had the courage and the bravery to be so big and bold with her words. So that was the first reaction, and it spread like wildfire through the gym. You know, coaches, GMs, everybody was talking about it. It was a big topic yesterday. But I think the takeaway from the players I have spoken to since then is that Napheesa told the truth from the players' perspective. There is a dissatisfaction for the concern with the health and safety of players. I think the severity of the injury to Napheesa Collier in a play that they consider to have been a foul is foremost in her mind. But the other thing that I would take away is that the officiating has to get better. This is not a statement for losers. This is a statement that we are hearing for both sides of coaches, coaches that win games, coaches that lose games. They are dissatisfied with the officiating in its current state, and they are asking for an overhaul. That my third takeaway from this is that Kathy Engelbert, for whatever reason, there is a disconnect between her and the players right now. And this is not good going into the CBA negotiations. The deadline for that is October 31st. So that is where we sit right now today. And I think the information that Kathy Engelbert and the league have to take away from this is that for whatever reason, the players are not satisfied with my connection with them and the way that the league is connecting with the health and safety and concerns of the women who are playing for the league. So I think these are things that are important that Napheesa expressed. I think that Kathy's statement that she released yesterday was very important and very understanding, and that they are listening. I think it would go a long way if the league also said, we are going to evaluate officiating from top to bottom, and we are going to get better. I think that would be important information to players to hear, and also that the health and safety concerns of the players are being listened to and taken more seriously. Those are all of the things that I took away from talking to players, GMs, and coaches yesterday after this news broke.
Yeah, there were so many players that spoke out, including including A'ja Wilson, after the game in support of what Napheesa Collier said. Clearly, this is not an isolated incident. Napheesa was speaking for so many around the association when she was making these comments. And now the onus, I think, is on the league to say, we hear you. And that really is a starting point, at least, for both the league and the players to have this conversation. There's so much going on in the W, Holly, including now the finals are set. We tip off in Vegas. It's on Friday night, the first 7-game series in WNBA history. What are you looking forward to? What are you looking at in this matchup?
Well, first and foremost, I think this is going to be a very physical series. You know, we're just talking about the officiating, but Phoenix plays a physical brand of basketball led by their, best player, Alyssa Thomas, who makes things go for them. This is interesting in the fact that these teams played 4 times during the regular season. Vegas won 3 out of those games. But I will tell you that there was one blowout. 3 of the games were divided by just 12 total points. So I'm expecting a very close, physical, closely contested finals. And I don't know, Vegas had a mid-season transformation, became very different after July 29th when they went on a 17-game winning streak. Phoenix is also a different version of themselves as Sachi Sabali and Kalia Copper have continued to get better and get healthier, and they are gelling at the right time. So I'm expecting a very exciting physical competition.
I am too, and of course, A'ja Wilson didn't play in that one game that the Mercury won. I don't know what you should take away from that, but I do know that this is going to be fun. And Holly, we will see you in Vegas, baby. The WNBA Finals.